Namaste. Welcome to Your Spiritual Revolution's live interview session. I'm your host and editor of Your Spiritual Revolution magazine, 𝗪𝗶𝘁𝗵. Today we have with us Divyaa Kummar. Divyaa Kummar is a spiritual author and facilitator, tarot guide, Bach flower practitioner and teacher, and a theta energy worker. She is an avid writer who has published many articles, channelings, quotes on a gamut of subjects, from the simple to the abstract. Also, many articles ranging around tarot, astrology, numerology, and other esoteric fields. So, welcome to ISI's live interview, Divyaa ma'am.
Thank you, Ravisha. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And I thank you, and I thank Amit, and I thank Spiritual Revolution magazine for giving me this opportunity to reach out.
Same here. Thank you for being with us. So, my first question to you is, how did you enter this path?
Well, it'll sound like a paradox because at one level, it's suddenly open. One day I was living life, king size, married, children, traveling, nothing. And actually, within 24 to 48 hours, the path suddenly opened up. I'm going to tell you how. But at another level, I was a born seeker. Ever since I was 5, 6, 7, I was interested in the metaphysical. My dad was interested in the metaphysical. My family was not religious, but it was very spiritual. I was brought up in a very large joint family where each one had their own guru. So I met a lot of gurus. I would meet, a lady called Bhagwan, 𝗪𝗍. I met a lot of gurus. So that was also the background for me. I was brought up in that. But it actually happened overnight in about 2000. I'm going to give it approximately in the year 2000. Life threw me a curve, as life tends to do. And I went into quite a ringer because till then I'd led a very full, happy, joyous life. I was a very happy-go-lucky, positive person. And when I was thrown this curve, I didn't know what to do. All my years of satsang, spirituality were there, but they didn't help me. And I yearned to get that Divya back. I yearned to get my life back. But somewhere along the line, another yearning took place. So the journey began to get my life back, to get Divya back. But somewhere along the line, I noticed, oh my God, this yearning has become something else which I don't know what I was yearning anymore. Then I realized I was yearning spiritual growth, spiritual truths. Over some years, that also changed. Then it became a yearning for liberation. I didn't even know what liberation meant when I began my journey. So at one level, it happened suddenly. At one level, it was a childhood background. And it all happened very organically. I didn't have to make any effort. It just unraveled and it started to grow. In the same way, I became a spiritual teacher. Now, if you knew me before 2000, I was not a spiritual teacher kind at all. So my friends are still shocked, Divya, you. And that goes to show anybody can be a spiritual teacher. So I didn't plan to be one. I didn't, try and create a path. I started speaking about what I'd learned. Friends got interested. People started coming. I started writing. So even now when somebody calls me Ma, I say, no, I'm not Ma. Do I look a Ma type? Call me Maddie. Yeah, because I reach out as a fellow traveler.
Right.
But actually how it began was in the year 2000 when this, thing happened. My yearning must have reached the universe and I was out with 4 friends for lunch. And we just spoke about which book would you want to be stranded with on an island. And one friend gave the name of a book, Sense Speaks. For some reason, I said, okay, that book I'm going to read. At that time, Amazon wasn't there. It wasn't so easy to get things. I turned every corner. I got the book. Now, it's a very difficult, very abstract book for most people to read. But I still know which chair I sat on. I started reading the book and boom, something happened. While the first few pages, I said, oh my God, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a channel. Some inner voice opened up in me. Some inner power opened up in me. I started getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and meditating for hours, not knowing what to do. A lot of gyan, a lot of energy, a lot of stuff started happening. And I was doubting it. I said, how do I know I'm receiving honest spiritual truth? But then as I started talking, and then, the very nice part was every time I would receive something, then I would read it in a spiritual text after that. Like God was actually saying, okay, you've got it, now see it's, you're on the right path. So that's how spiritual journey grew. That's how reaching out grew. Of course, by the end of it, I read all about 17, 20 books of Seth. but they downloaded into me. I didn't really read. I would sort of open a page and then the material would download into me. So that's how the spiritual journey began. And one last thing, which is very important, as I said, I lived a very full, happy, joyous life, abundance, marriage, children, family, travel. Nothing more, nothing more could have added to life than this divine grace. So
Wow.
I was ready for this. I was ready for this. And this actually goes to say that anybody is,
Amazing. Amazing.
it happens at the right time. Tell me.
Right. Amazing. So I would like to ask you that in today's time, where there are so many distractions, how do you stay focused on your spiritual journey?
Okay, very interesting. Because I say this to my students all the time. If you were going to your favorite restaurant to eat, yeah, where you just love the food, and you're going, then you're reaching there in 20 minutes. But on the way, you see a pav bhaji stall, you see bhel, you see all your other little restaurants. Do you get tempted to stop? You don't,
Uh,
only because you're going to your favorite restaurant. I know where I'm going. So
yeah.
nothing can distract me. And I actually say that discipline. Now, when I was, before 2000, I wasn't a disciplined person. But what does discipline mean? The root word of discipline is disciple to. When you become disciple to something, when you want something, when you're passionate about something, where's the distraction? I'm enjoying it. How can you get distracted from what you enjoy?
Right.
So there is no distraction. In fact, all day long, in some way or the other, spirituality is a part of my life. And see, we people, I'm saying like me and many of the people I reach out to, we're not born to be monks. We're not born to sit on the top of the mountain. I'm born to be a householder, have a family, have a husband, have friends, have the rest of my life. So I say
Right.
spirituality is like a house. You have a drawing room, you have a dining room, you have a bedroom, you have a TV room, you have different rooms. Yeah. And therefore, in my life, I have every room. I have a room for my friendships, for my family, for my spiritual life, for going out and having fun, for everything. So it's in
That is
balance.
an
Yeah.
amazing way to put it.
There's nothing missing. And I do everything. I go out, I have fun, I meditate for hours. I'm on a deep spiritual journey, yet I live my life fully. And
Wow.
a lot of people say, how can we start on our path? How did you start? And I said, I didn't. I had no plan. I had no intention. It's all in reverse. I don't desire God. God desires me. And when God desired me to explore Him, I suddenly desired to explore Him. And
Right.
a very, very key point on this is follow the path you enjoy. See, that's where people get distracted. Somebody said you must chant, somebody said you must do gyan, somebody said I must do this, and you try and you try and you get distracted. But if you enjoy, explore all the paths. I say, I'm completely opposite to the gurus. Find a guru and stick to one person. First, explore all the paths. And then you'll find it. Click will come. This is what I love doing. You love doing it, that's your path. Then after that, it's easy. It
Right.
becomes part of your day-to-day life. And another important part for not getting distracted is the right sangat, the right company. If your
Right.
friends, if your family, if you're surrounded by these people, then my day-to-day conversation is on these topics. So where is the point of getting, where can I get sidetracked? So life is not life and spirituality. For me, it's one whole fused. So when I'm on the treadmill, I get my strongest meditations. So life and spirituality has to become one whole. Not that I made, two partitions. So there's no point.
Right.
There's no area for distraction.
Great, great. So, what is your, guidance for
Yes.
all the people through this pandemic period?
Okay, so now the pandemic period has been very difficult. Yes, for most people, especially the younger generation who's not seen anything like this, it's been a difficult phase. The first thing I tell people is the first thing, if you know for sure that because of the pandemic, we as human race are evolving, we are going to a better place. It's a concept I've created, heaven on earth. Heaven on earth doesn't mean there will be really heaven on earth, but humanity will become a far better experience. Yeah. If we know that this is why the pandemic has come to raise humanity, to raise our quality of life, to raise human consciousness, won't you sort of feel okay? It's worth it. So first know that. It's come
Mhm.
for a higher reason, it's come for a larger reason, it's come to take us somewhere very beautiful. So if you're on a very bumpy flight, you're not going to like it. But if I know, oh wow, I'm landing in Hawaii, I don't mind the bumpy flight. Correct? So this is a bumpy flight
Right.
taking humanity to a beautiful place. That's the first thing. Secondly, the pandemic, the only way to sort of be in balance and go through the pandemic in a better way is keep your
Mhm.
frequency high. Now higher frequencies means you're filled with light. Can darkness enter light?
No.
Darkness cannot enter light. Yeah. So
Yeah.
raise your frequency, whichever way, meditation, prayer, chanting, hobbies, dancing, your dog, your pet, your raise your frequencies. Because if your frequencies are high, the pandemic cannot get you, the world crisis cannot get you, the sadness cannot get to you. In fact, not only it doesn't get to you because you are vibrating at a higher frequency, you are impacting the world. You're enabling the world. You're removing the sorrow, the crisis, the trouble from the world. So I
Right.
strongly feel that whatever you do for you, you have to do for the world. So be the
Right.
light.
So I understand from this that whatever you like to do, if you do
Yes.
it, your
Yes.
frequency rises. Is that correct?
Yes. So at a simple level, yes, 100%. Whatever you really enjoy
Mm.
doing, do. Your frequency will rise. You will know that if you are fond of reading or you're fond of music, your frequency will rise. But to really raise it even
Mm.
higher, chanting, prayer, meditation, Bach flower remedies. Now, the reason I become a Bach flower practitioner is because, of course, it helps heal you. But my God, it helps you
Mhm.
raise your frequencies. Now, you can do hours of meditation, prayers, chanting to raise your frequencies. Here, you will just take literally one bottle, 4 drops from the bottle, and you're raising your frequency. So, one of the
Okay.
best and easiest and simplest ways to raise your frequency is through the Bach flower remedies. But that's only one of
Oh,
the, yeah, yeah. So, be the light,
so
darkness cannot
yeah.
enter. Raise your
Mhm.
frequency for yourself and for your world, and know that we're going to a better place. Yeah, that's the only way.
Right.
And of course, at the practical level, do your masking, do the social
Mhm.
distancing, take care of yourself so that you can take care of the world. I strongly believe that.
Right. Right. So
Yeah.
you talked about Bach flowers. So tell
Yeah.
us a little about Bach. What is Bach flower?
Okay. To tell you a little bit about Bach is very difficult because Bach is like the love of my life right now. But I've been teaching Bach. I've been doing Bach flowers for 20 years, but I've been teaching it from the last 7, 8 years. And
Mm-hmm.
because of the pandemic and Zoom, I've taught almost 100 to 150 people in this year on
Oh
Zoom.
wow.
Yeah, because more people are also interested. Yes, and Zoom has opened it up to the world. And
Right.
the positive feedback has inspired me to do this because I will, share it with you if you want sometime in some other format. It has changed people's lives. It has taken them through the pandemic. It has helped them heal themselves, their staff, their dogs, everybody. But
Wow.
what is Bach? Yeah. Now, as a spiritual teacher, as a spiritual facilitator, as a so-called spiritual guru, what is the spiritual guru's work? To make you connect you to the guru within. That's all we do. Yeah, we don't say that you have to depend on me for the rest of my life, then I'm useless. Yeah. So
Right.
as a spiritual guru, I have to connect you to your inner guru. And what
Mhm.
does Dr. Bach remedies do? Dr. Bach said they will connect you to your own inner healer. He
Wow.
was a doctor, a surgeon, a homeopath, successful Harley Street practice. But he said, what's happening in this world is people are getting stuck in this doctor circle. Then you have to keep going to doctors. They cure one disease, you get another disease because you're only healing the symptoms. You're not
Mhm.
healing the roots, which are all emotional. And so he yearned to give humans, in spite of being a doctor, he said, I'm going to give them a simple method, a non toxic method, a method which heals the roots. So there are no more symptoms for doctors to heal. I'll give you a very beautiful quote on this. It's 𝗏𝐀𝐻𝐿. Once the work is done at the source, the whole river comes clean. Where are we trying to do physical? Where are we trying to heal ourselves? Physical symptoms. But the
Mhm.
roots are inside us, emotional imbalance, emotional upheaval, mental worry. We are not dealing with that. So you'll keep
Right.
falling. Dr. Bach said, I will work with that field, that energy field. And he was a visionary. He discovered his remedies 100 years ago. But now everybody everybody knows about Bach remedies. So it's not somebody said, oh, Divyaji, the Bach remedies have caught up with the world. No. The world has caught up with his consciousness now. Now we are ready to receive his consciousness. Yeah.
Right.
Simply put, there are 38 flower remedies taken
Mhm.
from 38 flowers. Nothing physical of the flower is in that energy in the bottle. It's pure
Mhm.
energy, and therefore 38 of the highest, finest frequencies to take. So if you're feeling sad, we'll give you 𝐀𝐻𝐿 because that's the remedy of joy. If you're feeling worried about your father, I'll give you red chestnut. That's the remedy of knowing that your beloveds are okay. If you're feeling confused, what do I do? I'll give you scleranthus because that gives you clarity. So the higher remedies help you remove your emotional mental blocks and diseases. It's a
Oh.
beautiful system. It's easy to learn, it's
Mhm.
easy to use. You can use it on everybody, and it's healing the roots so that you will be in more and more balance and you'll fall less and less physically ill also. But of course,
Right.
there's much more to Bach. So um, tell me.
You do these Bach workshops as well, as you said
I
on
do.
Zoom.
I do Bach workshops on Zoom now, and they're very, very, very popular because it's a very simple subject to learn. Practice for
Mhm.
yourself, and I say don't only learn it for yourself. Practice it on people. Emanate this energy into the world. So
Great.
it really works. We all go through ups and downs, right? One day you're happy,
Right.
one day you're sad, one day you're worried about the pandemic, one day you feel it's okay, one day you're angry with your husband, one day you're not. Now, these ups and downs we ignore. We say, okay, this is life. But
Right.
this up and down is actually creating havoc in my energy field, which is creating physical disease. Dr.
Right.
Ba said, you take these remedies, you take these frequencies so that you don't go up and down. You remain in balance. You heal your anger, you heal your suffering, you heal your sadness, you heal that, so you remain in balance. If you're in
Right.
balance, it's going to lead to emotional well being, mental well being, physical well being.
Great, great. So a while back you said that to make your frequencies higher, you need to do meditations or chantings. So what kind of meditation do you advise to
Okay.
these?
So meditation. Now a lot of people come to me and say, no, Divya ji, we tried meditation, but it doesn't work, so we're giving it up. Because
Mhm.
most people think that you have to just close your eyes and become empty. Yeah. And that's meditation. But as a beginner, you can't become empty. You'll close your eyes and the monkey mind, all your worries, all your thoughts will come. And then people feel I can't meditate and they stop meditating. Therefore, I suggest start with
Right.
guided meditation. Yeah, I'm a guided meditation teacher. I do guided meditation on Zoom. But I say start with guided meditation for two or three several reasons. One is when a guiding person is guiding you, they are connecting to higher energy. They're connecting you to God, consciousness, spirit, whatever you want to call it. So that
Mhm.
energy is coming through me to my students. And so you are
Yes,
getting lifted up in that energy. It's called entrainment. Yeah. So if you're in a group full of happy people, won't you feel happy?
definitely.
So if you're surrounded with high energy, which is coming through the person who's guiding the meditation, your energies are lifted. Yeah, that's one
Right.
way. Secondly, in guided meditations, we make you focus on beautiful symbols, beautiful colors, chakras, rainbow, images of God. Now, there's a very simple rule: energy follows your focus. If you're focused on trouble, you're going to feel depleted. If you're focused on God, spirit, chakras, heaven, your energy is raised. So that's what we do in guided meditations. First, the higher energy raises you. Secondly, the guided meditations take your focus to the higher self. So automatically, you'll be surprised in half an hour, 40 minutes now. Now my students meditate for 40 minutes and they say, where's the time gone? Because you've just gone into the higher state. You go from beta to alpha to delta to gamma. And also, guided meditation, normally when you sit for meditation, your conscious mind saying, oh God, I've forgotten this, I have to do this. So your conscious mind is entertained. When I'm guiding you, and so it gets shant. And when the conscious mind gets shant, the meditative mind automatically opens up. And you go into beautiful meditation, and then you can do it longer and easier and with less and less guidance.
Wow, great. So I said that you write about tarot as well. So a lot of us know about the tarot cards, but
Yes.
we don't know how it works. So how does tarot work exactly?
So, see, the first thing I started after Seth, when my voice opened, when this power came, was tarot. Now,
Mhm.
I learned tarot all from inside. I got a lot of gyan, a lot of knowledge. I always have my cards somewhere around me.
Wow.
And now most people think Tarot is coincidence. Why would why will those cards come up in my reading? Tarot works on the quantum physics, principles of quantum physics. Like attracts like. So if I am asking about guidance about my marriage or my spiritual growth or the pandemic, there's an energy field, and so the cards which match that question will come up in the reading. It's no coincidence. So tarot is actually based on science, on quantum physics of how and why it works. Secondly, tarot is not for predictions the way it's supposed to be. Of course, with time, as you learn tarot, now I do tarot workshop on Zoom. Right now, I'm doing a tarot workshop, very successful too. So with time, your probabilities become stronger. But tarot, if I could 100% predict, I would not be doing any of this. I would be on top of the stock exchange building, or I would be sitting with Modi ji, yeah, and I would be running the country. Nobody can predict 100%. We are tuning into probability. So if I'm tuning into a good probability for you, I'll say, hey, Ravisha, this is there for you. Make it happen. If I tune into a negative outcome for you, I'll say, hey, Ravisha, you're on the wrong track. You don't want to go down that road. So let's change it. So I will give you the guidance. Tarot is the best guidance in the world. Yeah, for day-to-day questions, marriage, job, renovation, health, anything, any question you have, the cards can answer. And of course, for deeper spiritual subjects, where am I going? What is my right path? It can address, the beauty of tarot is it can be for practical and for spiritual. In fact, right now I'm writing a book on tarot. It's been long overdue. And actually, when I'm writing that, what I'm discovering is that tarot works at two levels. One is at the practical level, it's like the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita gives you practical day-to-day life advice, how to live life. And at the deeper level, the tarot cards are like the Vedas. Deep spiritual story. You would be amazed if you came to one of my workshops. What is the entire Bhagavad Gita is encoded into the major arcana cards. How we were God, how we became humans, how we've forgotten, what's the cosmic illusion. The journey is now to raise, go back. That's what tarot is really about. Along the way, it's become a tool of divination, which it can be used for with prudence and with care.
Okay, great. So, a question that many of us, have is this spiritual path for everyone?
Okay, so I got it. So, does everybody have to be on the path? No. It's a big misnomer that everybody should be on a spiritual path. No. Yeah, because the spiritual path, they may not be overtly on the spiritual path. Maybe they've done a lot of gyan in another life and they've just come in this life to practice it. Maybe they are on the spiritual path just by their action. You can be a housewife, you can be an actor, you can be anything. And you may not be on a spiritual path. Yeah, because either it's not required for you in this life, or you've done the gyan in another life, this is your practice life, or you're being spiritual in your action indeed. So you don't need it. So does everybody have to be on a spiritual path? No. And a lot of spiritual people have this judgment. Oh, she's not at all in the spiritual path. Not at all. Spiritual path means we know that each one is doing exactly what they need to do. But can everybody be on the spiritual path? Of course. And why? Why is it easy to be on the spiritual path? Find what works for you. You see, most people get stuck by saying, I tried this and, I just couldn't do that because it didn't resonate with you. Try everything. And then when the click happens, you will automatically be on a spiritual path. You will want to explore it. And thirdly, as I've told you, spiritual path doesn't mean you have to leave life and not party or not have a drink. No, or be vegetarian. I am a vegetarian. I may not drink, but you don't have to. So the spiritual path can be as long as you are growing, evolving, living your life fully, being a good person. So does everybody have to be? No. Can everybody be? Yes. Will everybody be? At some point in their life? Yes. At some point in your life, in this life or another life, because God or our source is in our DNA. So at some life, we're all going to evolve, whether we like it or not, whether we want to or not, whether it's this life focus or not. Every life, we will evolve.
Right. Great. So if you can, give a message or advice to all of our viewers, what would that be?
Okay, so general advice I would say is our consciousness is our contribution to our world. So many people, especially these days, say, how do we change the world? How can we make a difference? How can we impact the world? What can we do?
Mm.
So of course you can do seva, of course you can do whatever else you're doing, but the one and only way to change your world is to expand your consciousness. As your consciousness expands, your world will get impacted, your world will raise, your world will evolve. So, when we talk about a new dimension, heaven on earth coming, there's no mystical dimension which is going to come from mumbo jumbo. When my consciousness expands, the people around me will expand, and then around them and around them. And when enough humans are expanding and evolving at a higher frequency, you can do it through Bach, you can do it to so many levels, then the world will become a better place for you and me to live. So
Yeah.
spirituality is not separate from a better world. We all want a better world, and many of us want spiritual growth, but they can be one and the same. Yeah.
Right.
Anytime you want to have, I have a problem with my husband, I have to look within. I want to change the pandemic, I have to look within. I want to change the world, I have to look within. That's my second message. Anytime you want to make any change, go within. The answers are within, the point of power is within. If you change within, the outside world is a mirror. So if I'm wearing this gray dress today, it's going to show gray. Yeah. And I can keep trying to change the screen, it won't change. But if I change from inside, my world will change, my people will change. So expand your consciousness, and instead of blaming outside, looking outside, trying to fix the outside, go within.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Divya ma'am, for being with us today and
It was a great
sharing your
pleasure,
knowledge and insights.
and you asked me very beautiful questions.
So thank you
So,
so much.
and
It
you
was
are welcome to join my Bach workshop or tarot workshop anytime.
definitely,
Okay.
definitely, definitely.
Okay.
Thank you so much, and thank you to
Lot of
all.
blessings to you, to all the listeners, and to the magazine, Spiritual Revolution magazine.
Great. Thank you so
Thank
much, and thank you
you.
to the viewers. We'll be concluding now. Thank you.
Thank you.